Hi, this is Roger from Kaika Labs, and today let's talk about this little function generator, this time based on the MAXim MAX038, the famous chips from the 1980s and 1990s, and compare it to the XR2206 based function generator, which I extensively tested and which is quite a popular video on my channel. And they have a lot of similarities, like for example you also get an acrylic case for the MAX031 based, where the settings are etched into the acrylic, like here for example perhaps you can read the frequency settings. And they also set the frequency with the jumpers, and instead of 3 potentiometers we have 4 this time. One for the duty cycle frequency and only one for the frequency, so no fine-tuning. The DC offset of the output voltage, which is missing on the XR2206 based, and the amplification or the gain, or in this case it's even an attenuation via 2 op-amps working in the inverting mode. So let's start with the power supply. We have a regulated supply with a 5-volt regulator here, and so you can input anything between 9 volts and 12 or 15 volts. I wouldn't go any higher because this thing uses around 100 milliamps, so it's not suited for a 9-volt battery. That was the reason why I chose this one for repair cafe uses, where I simply need a battery-powered simple audio function generator. And here you certainly need a little DC wall wart power supply. This button here is for changing the shape of the output between sine, triangle and square wave, and via the duty cycle adjustment you can of course change a symmetrical triangle wave to a sawtooth, or a symmetrical sine wave to a PWM kind of pulse shaped square wave, or in that case a rectangle wave. And here's a little jumper for setting the duty cycle to fixed 50% so that you have a symmetrical. That's especially important for sine wave measurement in audio amplifiers. And to the variable, at the moment it's set as variable. And we have, just as in the other one, a pin header for setting the frequency range with a bank of capacitors. And of course the MAX031 is most famous for that it goes up to 20 megahertz, where the output waveform is still acceptable. Up to 2 or 5 megahertz it's near perfect, and then it starts to become, the triangle doesn't look anymore like a triangle, and the square wave is not a perfect square wave above 5 megahertz, but that's okay. So it has more than 10 times the frequency range than the XR2206. And by the way, the numbering 038, this is certainly related to the ICL AT38, which was the contender during the heyday of the XR2206. And the last 3 numbers of the ICL AT38, they have reused it here in the MAX038. So, and at the output, which is for such high frequencies, it's of course not very suitable to use screw terminals. You would need a BNC or other high frequency capable socket, but nevertheless we have to test the output with the screw terminal. So you get the ground, the sync output. Output 1 is directly, without any buffer, directly from the MAX038 without attenuation, and out 1 is from the variable gain amplifiers. So next let's take a look at the schematics to see how they did it. Anyway, the PCB looks relatively clean. Of course, because of the white solder mask you can't see the traces very good, or nearly just as bad as with black solder mask, but that is not of a great importance here. So let's change over to the schematics. So I've had a hard time to find a usable schematic for this little function generator. It looks quite blurred because the best copy I could find on the internet is in very low resolution, but with a little guessing we can identify all the chips and how it's done. So first of all, we have the 78 M05 5-volt voltage regulator, but the MAX031 here in the center needs bipolar supply, so the minus 5 volt is generated via an LMC 7660, which is the same as the famous ICL 7660, which serves for decades as voltage doubler or voltage inverter, and here it is configured as voltage inverter. Then, strange, we have an unidentifiable 8-pin microcontroller, perhaps one of the cheap Pt.1 3-cent microcontrollers. This is needed simply for transferring the push button pushes to the two control lines which control with digital levels the waveform shape. So it goes from, I don't know, 00, 01, 10, it toggles between sine, triangle and square wave. Here we have the bank of capacitors where one is selected with the jumper. And what else do we have? The only real analog part is this dual op-amp. It's designated as an AD8052, and if you look this up from analog devices, it's a low-cost, high-speed dual op-amp, which goes up to more than 100 megahertz. And the first one, they are both configured as inverting amplifiers. The first is configured with a gain factor of 1, so it's merely an inverting buffer. But here we have the offset potentiometer, and so the offset is simply added to the output level. And the second one is configured as a variable inverting op-amp, and this time not with a positive gain or not with a gain greater than 1, but it's an attenuator. You can do this only with inverting op-amps, as far as I remember, to configure the feedback resistor in a way that the output signal is smaller than the input signal. And this one here, it comes with a 100 ohm first resistor, and then the variable, the potentiometer with 2 kilo ohms resistance. So we get a total gain of between 1 and 1 on 20, or 5%. The only other potentiometers are the frequency potentiometer and the duty cycle potentiometer. The steps, let me look it up. The steps are a little bit strange. The first range is from, you won't be able, I'll try to enlarge this a little bit. So there's still some residue from the protective paper that was on the acrylic. So the ranges are, let me look it up, 1 Hertz to 6 Hertz, then 6 Hertz to 75, 75 to 700 Hertz, 700 to 7K, then 7K to 70K, 70 kilohertz to 300 kilohertz, 300 kilohertz to 2 megahertz, and then 2 megahertz up to 20 megahertz. So most ranges are variable by a factor of around 10, but the steps are not very even and a little bit unusual. By the way, this is not the cheapest of all function generators you can get on eBay. It costs around 30 euros or dollars, and you have to solder it by yourself. So the reason is probably because the MAX038 can only be new old stock. I've examined the marking under a microscope. It looks genuine, and it also works as a genuine chip. The date code is 0033, which should mean 33rd week of 2000. This could be true because, as far as I remember, the chip factory where this MAxim chip was made has burned down, and and from that moment on it was never rebuilt, and the masks for the production of the IC were never created again. So this is certainly a limited supply, because if you search only for the single chip, this costs quite a lot of money, often 20 euros or more, solely for a genuine chip. So it could be even good if you simply need the chip, that the kit is sometimes cheaper than trying to find a single chip. Nevertheless, 30 euros is quite expensive for a Chinese kit, but this is probably due only to the scarcity of the central chip. So now let's check the waveforms, how well this is working in practice.